Welcome to your high school sports, powered by Krispy Kreme Doughnuts on the Parkway in Pigeon Forge in their new location on Highway 66, right here in Sevier County.
Yes, sir.
Hey, come on down to Sevierville and visit us. All kinds of things going on, Chris, because of the new Disney World.
Oh, yes, that's right. It's the new Disney World. This is where things are happening. Dreams are coming true here in Sevier County.
All right. We're doing something a little bit different this year. We're kind of going around the table for the question of the week. So the guys get together and they come up with the question of the week. The question of the week is going to Jake, since he's a new kid on the block. Jake, what is the question of the week?
All right, guys. Well, considering everything that's going on right now with the Oakland Raiders and Hard Knocks, obviously that's kind of a big story around football. But with Antonio Brown holding out right now because of the helmet issue, is he validated in holding out because of a helmet? Or is he in the wrong there for forgoing practices and not being with his team?
Oh, all right, guys. Jake has come up with a great question. You know, this is all over Sports Center when you see it. Let's go to you first. What do you think about this helmet thing?
Well, the problem is you got to wear a helmet. So if you don't want to wear a helmet, you can't play. That's the first thing, right?
Yeah.
Common sense, right? The next thing, I can kind of understand where he's coming from because, you know, maybe it weighs too much or he said it blocks his sight line. But at the end of the day, Antonio Brown, you're getting paid to play football. You're making tons of money. Put on the new helmet, and let's see what you can do for the Oakland Raiders. And then if you win a few games, you might have to talk about maybe switching back to the old helmet if that's what you want. But right now, we got to get you on the field and see what you can do. And I'm sure Mr. Gruden would like to see you back on the field.
Definitely.
Well, you know what? It may not even be about the helmet. You know what this whole thing be about? Let's first look at what was the first problem with Antonio Brown? No. Well, the money. And then what? My foot. Got a problem with my foot.
Put it in my mouth.
So what happens? Which that, I mean, everybody, I don't know if you saw that on the internet. Pretty gross, but there was a severity with his foot.
Yeah, it
caused
was.
him not to be able to what? Practice.
Right.
All right. So that heals. Now what we got next? What are we talking about now?
His helmet.
His helmet. Hey, like Chris says, I get it. You know, we're used to certain ways of preparing for a game and certain things we're used to wearing and what fits right, and understand that my vision works perfect with this helmet and this is just what I got to wear. We get that. But you know what I think the real issue is? He don't want to practice. He doesn't want to practice. So this is a good way to just kind of delay practicing, cause all this commotion, and guess what? As people are talking about it and weighing ins and on, should he do it? He's just laid back in the cut, relax, and say, guess what? I'm buying a few more days to lay back in the cut and practice. I know what I can do. I just need to show up and play.
And the next thing, too, is he's not the only one complaining about the helmet, too.
Okay.
Tom Brady also complained and filed a grievance also. But guess what Tom Brady did in the meantime?
Put on the helmet.
And went to practice.
He went to practice. That's why Tom Brady wins Super Bowls. You know, the thing about this, okay, Antonio Brown, okay, he wasn't happy in Pittsburgh. He wasn't happy. He don't seem like he's a happy person. But like you said, he don't want to practice. You in the NFL. Now, you know what that stands for? Not for long. If you keep doing this.
Well, you know, he said money's not even an issue.
Oh, come on.
Money. Well, you know, but with the dollar signs they're throwing at him, he'll put a helmet on.
He's best because if the NFL says wear this type of helmet, that's what is safer for you. That's what you should do. You know, a lot of kids are out there. They're looking at this thing. You know, with him. You know, I got a son. He's playing Little League football, and that's the type of helmet he's supposed to wear. That's the helmet he's going to wear.
Yeah.
So he needs to put on the helmet and go on to practice.
It's going to continue to change and continue to evolve as the technology gets better and the science gets better. So people need to learn how to change.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. All right, we've had our question of the week, and we'll be right back here on Your High School Sports. More from the Tri-Cities in a moment.
I'll tell you what, you don't have to look far to get savings right here at Bachman Bernard Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac in Greeneville. Save up to $10,000 on a brand new 2019 Buick Encore. Save up to $10,500 on a brand new 2019 Buick Enclave. And I'll tell you what, how about saving up to $12,000 on a brand new 2019 Buick LaCrosse? Up to $12,000. Make the short trip to Bachman Bernard Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac right here in Greeneville, where as always, I'm going to save you money.
Just look at all those freshly made Krispy Kreme donuts. I'm sure it makes you want one or a dozen right now. So come visit our locally owned and operated Krispy Kreme donuts in Pigeon Forge. Our Krispy Kreme donuts are made fresh daily, our service is fast and friendly, and the taste will put a smile on anyone's face. Krispy Kreme is a fundraising favorite, so call us today to help support your school or community fundraising efforts. Our delivery truck is there when you need us. Krispy Kreme Doughnuts on the Parkway in Pigeon Forge.
Welcome back to Your High School Sports. I'm your host, Roddy Woods, along with Chris Blevins and Chris Reddick. And Chris is here. You got something, since we're in the Tri-Cities, he's got a player profile.
Well, I do have a player profile, but since we're talking about the Tri-Cities, this kind of makes sense for the Tri-Cities, but it also is relevant outside the Tri-Cities. And what I'm talking about is we've got a new book. Of course, we've got our online magazine, but we also do a special magazine for the Sevier County schools, a little preview magazine. The reason why I want to talk about it in the Tri-Cities, because we want to give a special thank you to Quick Print and UPS Store in Elizabeth. And they did a great job printing all these out and getting it out on time so we could push them out for all the fans to enjoy. So I wanted to talk about that first.
Okay.
But yes, with the players' profile in the Tri-Cities, there is a lot of outstanding players in the Tri-Cities, guys, and we're going to be talking about them all through the year. But I want to start off with one player that is probably relevant to talk about because he had an outstanding season. And this guy I'm talking about is Chris Thomas.
Yes.
Chris Thomas is an outstanding running back for the Science Hill Hilltoppers. And what do I mean by that? Because last year, Chris Thomas rushed for over 1,500 yards as a junior. And the reason why he's able to do that is because he has the wheels. He runs a 4.5 in the 40. So with that and the size that the kid has, I believe he's about 208, somewhere in that range. So he's a good sized kid as a senior coming back running. So I wanted to point him out because this is a player, you're probably seeing some of the highlights on the screen right now, but this is a player that you definitely want to watch for the 2019 season because I believe he is going to make a difference for Science Hill, especially with the Hilltoppers losing a lot of their line. So they're going to definitely need that push from him. But according to the Johnson City Press, he happens to talk about, yes, we got a young line, he said, but they're truly talented, and I believe they'll grow up by the end of the season. So want to point out, be on the watch for Chris Thomas. He's already got some schools watching East Tennessee State, Western Carolina, and there possibly could be some Division I schools above that level that may want to pick him up.
Speaking of Mr. Thomas, he's in our top 17 players to watch.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's something you need to watch too. Be watching out for online. Jake's going to unveil his top 17 players of the Southeast.
Nice.
So what you got going on?
Well, it was a great profile by Chris there. I know Mr. Thomas is going to show out this year after coming out of a great season last year too. But we got to go talk to Bart Lyons up at the Science Hill Hilltoppers this week, and I want to make sure we get to that interview and make sure you talk to Bart.
I'm joined with Wes Jones. Coach Jones, first-year coach with us here at Science Hill. He's been at Hardin Valley as the head coach. And Coach, how's the transition been from Hardin Valley to Science Hill, and what will your obligations be for Science Hill?
Well, first off, I'm really excited about the opportunity to come to Johnson City. This is home. Getting back to Upper East Tennessee up here, spent the last 15 years in Knoxville and been the head football coach down at Hardin Valley for the last 11 years. All I can say is there's a bit of a relief when I come to work each day. I don't have to worry about the day-to-day operations. I just get to coach football and build relationships with kids. And I'm super excited about that, and super excited about this opportunity to be here at Science Hill High School and work with Coach Carter, a good friend of mine, and just really excited. And, as far as what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to work with the offense. I'm going to be involved in play calls and design and things of that nature, and then I'm going to work with our defensive line. So just getting back to basics and doing what I want to do, and that's be a football coach and build relationships with kids.
Coach Jones, we're glad to have you. Coach Wes Jones for Your High School Sports.
Great interview from Bart. He caught up with a lot of Science Hill, caught up with a good friend of ours, Wes Jones. Remember about Hardin Valley?
Oh, yeah.
I think Science Hill's, this could be their year. Bart always says that Science Hill, watch out for Science Hill. And you had a piece last week. We talked about how many games they lost, or Jake had a piece how many games they lost by little points.
So like I said, a lot of surprises could come from this team this year. So
You're always a play away.
Exactly.
Whether you be a backup or a team, you're always a play away.
There you go. When we come back, Jake's going to join us here, and he had a great interview with new head coach of the Greeneville Green Devils, Coach Dan Hammonds, and he caught up with some players over there. So make sure you stay right here on Your High School Sports. We're coming right back.
may be hot outside, but I'm going to turn the heat up just a little bit more. Right here at Bachman Bernard Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac right here in Greeneville. I'll tell you what, you want savings? I've got them. Save up to $10,000 on a brand new 2019 Buick Encore. That's right, up to $10,000. You can go to other dealers. They're going to say, well, no, they can't do that. Well, I'll tell you what. Come down here and try me. You're going to save up to $10,000 right here at Bachman Bernard Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac right here in Greeneville. Where, as always, you know it, I'm going to save you money.
Hey folks, this is Roddy from My Smoky TV channel 195, and I'm standing in front of the best place to get a Krispy Kreme donuts, and that's Krispy Kreme donuts right here on the Parkway in Pigeon Forge, and at their second location right down in Sevierville off of Highway 66. Make sure you stop when the hot light's on. It's on from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. and then at night from 6 to 9. Hey, I love them, so come on by Krispy Kreme Donuts and get you one hot, fresh, and ready. And follow My Smoky TV channel 195 on Facebook and Instagram.
Let's go, Toppers! And you're watching your high school sports.
I'm Jake Nichols for your high school sports here at Greeneville High School. Going through a coaching change in high school football is never easy, but what might make it a little easier is going through it after 2 consecutive state championships as a 14-year defensive coordinator here at Greeneville, such is the case for Dan Hammonds. Earlier today, I talked to Coach Hammonds about his new role as head coach and what he's looking for in his first season at the helm. I also talked to Ty Youngblood, as well as Will Albright, a senior long snapper, about their expectations for the Green Devils and what it's been like to maintain the Green Devil standard. It's not often that you see a new head coach coming off 2 consecutive state championships. What do you make of that, and just kind of taking this role after being part of all 4 of the other state championships you've been here with?
I think, Coach Ballard had a plan all along, and we kind of knew without just everybody talking about it that was the plan. It's a new role for me, but it's just a different opportunity to serve the guys.
5, 6, 7.
You've got a big weapon in Ty Youngblood coming up this year as a senior. Can you talk a little bit about those weapons that you have this year and just what you might have to make another state championship run?
Ty's a big one for sure. He's, a team leader, top-notch character kid, great in the classroom. He's just all around great young man to have on the football team. As a first-year head coach, he's wonderful to have because he's a returning captain, and he's somebody who's just dialed in and tuned into what's going on in and outside the program. So we're obviously expecting him to do big things on both sides of the ball. Just make sure all the other guys are on point every day doing what they're supposed to do. We're returning Will Albright is another one that's one of our senior leaders this year. He should get some more touches and does a good job blocking out on the edge for us.
When you get a guy who's been here, who knows what we've done, who's been a part of 4 state championships and has done it before, he's seen how it works, and he's been a big part of it. It's really just kind of hit the ground running.
So what are you most excited about headed into the season now that we're on the precipice of your first season as head coach?
Well, I think yesterday that is officially game week, and we're preparing specifically for somebody in game situation. And we can let it all out there and not hold anything back.
Having Coach Ballard here still, I know he teaches here as well. What's it been like to have him still as a resource going into your first year as head coach? Do you still go to him at all for anything regarding advice? And what does that look like whenever you go to him with a question about your first year as head coach?
I wish I had more time to talk to him, to be honest with you.
The Green Devil standard is what we break down every huddle with, and what it means to us is the standard that we uphold ourselves to, and the community, what they expect from us and what we expect from each other.
From players to coaches to administrators and this community and the support they give. So there's a standard set, and it's our job to continue that.
All right, Jake, a great interview with Coach Dan Hammonds. Big shoes to fill at Greeneville.
Oh, yes.
He talked to Mr. Youngblood. Mm-hmm. I think Greeneville, my opinion is, I think Greeneville could. It depends on a few things. They got to find a few playmakers. But they got Elizabethton is going to be a hard game for them. But after that, it's like we said last year. The game between Elizabeth and Greeneville. Hey, what's in Knoxville?
Exactly.
But a lot of change has been happening in Greeneville, so it might be just a little bit of a tougher time. But the standard has been set, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I think
It'll be excited to watch.
Yeah.
I think you're right, guys. Hey, when we come back, Jake's going to join us once again, and he's got an interview with somebody, a legend, VFL, and his son. So make sure you stay right here on Your High School Sports. We'll be right back.
I need your trade. I need your trade. I need your trade. I'll tell you what, look at my lot. It's getting empty. That's because we've been selling a ton of vehicles. Make the short trip to Baca Bernard. I need your trade. That means I'm going to put some dinero, some cash, lots of money in it. I'll tell you what, with your trade being worth what it is and the extra trade-in rebates, you can save up to $7,500 on a brand new 19 Cadillac XT5. Make the short trip to Baca Bernard, Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, Cadillac, right here in Greeneville, where as always, I'm going to save you money.
Just look at all those freshly made Krispy Kreme donuts. I'm sure it makes you want one or a dozen right now. So come visit our locally owned and operated Krispy Kreme donuts in Pigeon Forge. Our Krispy Kreme donuts are made fresh daily, our service is fast and friendly, and the taste will put a smile on anyone's face. Krispy Kreme is a fundraising favorite, so call us today to help support your school or community fundraising efforts. Our delivery truck is there when you need us. Krispy Kreme Donuts on the Parkway in Pigeon Forge.
Hey everyone, I'm Jake Nichols for Your High School Sports here in Arden, North Carolina at the Christ School with 3-star quarterback Navy Shuler. Navy, thanks for joining us.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
So, Navy, you've got a big last name to follow in Shuler. Your dad was a former Tennessee quarterback, played in the NFL, and also was a U.S. congressman. So, following in his footsteps, what's it been like to have him along for the ride as your offensive coordinator?
It's definitely a blessing to have him by my side. Having him help me with my recruiting is very big, very big.
What have you seen throughout the process? Obviously, you haven't picked anyone yet, but do you have any specific leads or anyone you're more interested in than anyone else?
Not really. I'm pretty much open right now, seeing where it goes. Should be hoping to make a decision soon.
So 4,112 passing yards last year, 45 touchdowns, pretty big numbers for a high schooler. How do you feel like you can improve upon that this year, even with the state championship loss at the end of last season?
I feel like we've improved. We're hoping to get start our running game because we lost running back last year. So hoping to have more 50-50, but I'm excited for this season.
Even with that running game being lost last year, you're a pretty mobile quarterback. What do you see as your biggest assets on the field?
I guess my asset would be field general, be able to make plays with my feet and my arm. That'd be it probably.
We went back and all about the footwork.
Here with former Tennessee quarterback and current Christ School offensive coordinator Heath Shuler. Mr. Shuler, how you doing?
Hey, doing great, Jake. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Thanks for being here. So, a lot of Tennessee fans obviously remember the name Shuler, but what they may not know, your son Navy is a current 3-star out of Christ School. So what's it been like from going to the NFL, playing at UT, and then being a congressman to now being an offensive coordinator and just being a dad for your son through this process?
Well, there's probably no more important job than the one I currently have, being able to have a relationship with a lot of these young high school students and being a mentor to them and help them through their process. And we got several kids that's going through the recruiting process, including my son. So it's been a great experience for them, and I'm glad to be a part of their life.
What's the advice been that you've given to Navy as well as so many other kids that are just going through this process and trying to find that right fit for the next step?
I think that the most important thing is the fit. I mean, a lot of kids want to look at the biggest school they could probably get offered by, and they worry about the ratings and the stars and all that. And the most important thing is to find the fit that best suits you. Is it a coach that you can rely on that's going to be there for quite some time, a coach that's developed, in his case, quarterbacks, and regardless of the size of school it is, go and have an opportunity to play.
At the Christ School in Arden, North Carolina, this has been Jake Nichols for Your High School Sports.
I'll tell you what, at Buck Bernard Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac right here in Greeneville, we've got the savings. You want them? Like I said, we've got them. How about saving up to $12,000? That's right, saving up to $12,000 on a brand new 2019 Chevrolet Crew Cab Silverado with the All-Star package. Make the short trip to Buck Bernard Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac right here in Greeneville, where as always, you know it, I'm going to save you money.
Welcome back to Your High School Sports. I'm your host, Rodney Woods, along with Jake Nichols, who you just had a great interview with Heath Shuler and his son Navy, Chris Blevins and Chris Reddick here. Guys, you know, everybody knows who Heath Shuler was. VFL, now his son stepping into those shoes. Great interview from Jake.
Oh, awesome interview from Jake. Jake did a great job, and just want to commend the Shulers. I mean, they both were fine gentlemen. Heath was great to hang out with. Like we was talking off camera, actually was able to catch a pass.
Yeah.
He knows my catch and tuck. He said, oh, okay. But yeah, you want to know if he still got a little spin. Accuracy's there, but he actually talked about, you know, I've lost a little of my speed on it, you know, his arm's not what it used to be. Yeah, but he's still very accurate on his throw. Very nice.
You know, when you see something like that, you know, the way he's been grooming Navy, you know, and he had some great offers from some places, you know.
Oh, yes.
Some great
He's
offers.
had over 10 schools this.
But to choose Appalachian State.
I mean, what a great school he's going to, too. I mean, it's like a really good, high-powered offensive team, too, so you're going to be able to throw the ball. So he was throwing it to you. But he just seemed like a well-rounded individual, like a good guy. He's been brought up from a good standard. And I think that, you know, Navy's going to do some good things, and he's got a good name. You know, Navy.
Oh, yeah.
Navy.
I mean, Navy. That's a cool name, right?
Navy. It sounds like Navy Shuler.
It does. It does.
Yeah, it sounds good. Sounds good.
Sounds really good.
Football name.
So when we come back here on Your High School Sports, we're going to set up a few things and tell you how you can see a lot more from us here on the Your High School Sports set. So we'll be right back.
The savings don't stop when you get on the lot at Buck Bernard Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac. They just get started. How about saving up to $10,500 on a brand new 2019 GMC Acadia SLT? That's right, up to $10,500. And if you want bigger savings, how about saving up to $13,000 on a brand new 2019 GMC Sierra Crew Cab SLT? Make the short trip to Buck Bernard Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac right here in Greeneville, where as always, I'm going to save you money.
Hey folks, this is Rodney from My Smoky TV Channel 195, and I'm standing in front of the best place to get a Krispy Kreme donuts, and that's Krispy Kreme donuts right here on the Parkway in Pigeon Forge, and at their second location right down in Sevierville off of Highway 66. Make sure you stop when the hot light's on. It's on from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. and then at night from 6 to 9. Hey, I love them, so come on by Krispy Kreme Donuts and get you one hot, fresh, and ready. And follow My Smoky TV Channel 195 on Facebook and Instagram. Welcome back to Your High School Sports. As we wrap things up, let me tell you our lineup so you don't miss one thing from us. On Mondays is the TSSAA polls that come out next Monday, so you will get your first shot at the poll from yourhighschoolsports.com. Around 6:30, we'll have the first one, plus the top 10. Your High School Sports top 10 will come out. Then Tuesday at 3 p.m., our internet show always goes up. Chris takes care of that. Our internet show, you'll be able to see the live internet show. Then on Wednesday is Jake's magazine. Your High School Sports, the magazine, comes out. Volume number 2 will be this Wednesday. And then every week after that, a new magazine. This one, I can't wait to see this one.
It's going to be a good one.
It's going to be a good one. So make sure you go Wednesday and see Your High School Sports, the magazine, Volume 2. Thursday, we'll have interviews from coaches. The game of the week, we all have a game of the week. We'll pick a game and we'll do an interview. I'll have the interview on Thursday at 3 o'clock. Friday. All right, make sure you check out our schedule. Go to yourhighschoolsports.com. Check out the game of the week. So, all right, guys, as we wrap up things on Saturday, is our show, which runs on ABC Tri-Cities at 5:30 a.m. A little early, so get up and catch it. If you miss it, when can they catch it?
They can catch it on Sunday.
Sunday at 3 p.m. You can catch this show, so make sure you set your VCRs or if your DVDs or whatever.
Or go online.
Go online and check it out, because the thing about it is, guys, we're doing something every day. It's football time.
Every day it's football.
It's football.
We're talking about it.
If you haven't gone on to our website at Your High School Sports and check out Wednesdays when Jake posts our magazine on there, there is some great information that we might even miss on the show.
Oh,
you
yeah?
can definitely catch up on Wednesdays when Jake comments out together. It's really nice.
Yes, that I'm excited about that magazine, because there's things in there, like you said, we don't even know
Oh,
about.
yeah. We get information.
Yeah, we have to read it too.
Yeah,
So.
Yeah, Jake Nichols is our editor, and he just takes care of it. We just turn him loose, and he takes care of it. I can't wait to Wednesday.
We just read and enjoy.
I can't wait to Wednesday. All right, one quick little note here. Jake has an extra from the Shuler interview. You talked to Navy, and
Yes, so going back to what we were talking about earlier, guys, with Navy committing to Appalachian State, whenever I caught up with him a couple days after we talked, he announced his commitment to the Mountaineers. And so I called him a couple days after that and said, hey man, can you tell me a little bit just about why Appalachian State, why this program and what about it stands out to you? And he told me that their new head coach, Elijah Drinkowitz, really stands out to him as a person of interest, and the reason, or one of the many reasons that he picked that program, because of the quarterback play that they've had. They have the 2018 Sun Belt Offensive Player of the Year at quarterback, but also in Drinkowitz, they have a coach that has been offensive minded. He coached at North Carolina State as their offensive coordinator for the past 3 seasons. He really likes to air it out, and I think Navy really appreciates that. And he also talked about just the relationship that they have as they're both going into their first seasons at Appalachian State. So really just being able to get to know each other while maintaining and getting a feel for the program together as both new faces up there in Boone, North Carolina.
all right, I hope you've enjoyed this week's Your High School Sports. For Chris Blevins, Chris Reddick, and Jake, I'm Roddy Woods. We'll see you next week right here on Your High School Sports. Hey folks, this is Roddy from My Smoky TV channel 195. Remember to go to mysmokytv.com and like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram, and you might find yourself winning a whole dozen of Krispy Kreme donuts.